everyone, it's Colin Boyer and I am here at 1040 Bluestone Drive. I am here with the owners and the sellers.
Hi, I'm Gia.
I'm Jeremy.
So they purchased this property and completely re-renovated everything. It's listed at $1.495 million and you just went under contract 2 days ago?
Yes.
Correct. Awesome. So we're gonna take a peek throughout. They're gonna tell us a little bit about the house and a little bit of the struggles with doing such a big renovation. All right, guys, so when did you purchase this home?
We bought the home just in January of this year.
So it's been about an 8-month renovation. You guys handled everything in-house and with subcontractors, so you took everything on by yourselves.
That's correct.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that were the bigger renovations. What was the first thing you tackled whenever you came into the home?
I think demolition was the first thing. You know, there was a ton of dated tile in this property, I mean, everywhere, all flooring and wall tile. I think that was the biggest thing to start trying to remove that, and it was a big thing to tackle. We had to actually bring in a demolition crew to do all of that.
Yeah.
It was not something we really wanted to handle in-house.
Awesome. So is this what you guys do full-time?
This is not what we do full time.
Nope. More of a hobby.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
So he has a full-time job as a
Yeah.
software engineer, and 20 years ago started taking on rental, built a rental portfolio, and I worked as a high school guidance counselor for 15 years.
Yeah.
And recently retired to do this, and yeah, it's kind of a side gig, a lot of time.
Yeah, especially doing a $1.5 million renovation. Before this, what was your biggest project?
We probably did something that was around 350,000, somewhere around there. Yep.
Usually our niche is typically houses that are like 2,000 square feet, give or take, a little under, a little more, and around that 300 to 350 ARV after render value. So this was a whole different.
So what made you want to take on something this big? It's not something that you're like, hey, found a $800,000 million house on Zillow, let's go flip it. What did it take to convince yourselves to jump into it and take on something this big?
Oh, I think I pretty much browbeat her into it.
A little bit.
I mean, I found the house by driving for dollars, just, you know, coming and driving by and seeing an abandoned house, overgrown, and taking a look at it. And I thought this would be fun to do, and trying to basically sell her on that, which took, I think, several weeks, you know, and I think she's, I think you finally, you know, gave into my peer pressure, so.
And it didn't take very long to sell. 1.5 million in our market in Pennsylvania is still very, very high-end luxury. So how long have you been on the market? You're already under contract with cash. What does that time frame look like with getting showings in and going under contract?
Well, we've been on the market for exactly a week.
Wow.
Today, and we had advertised and held an open house and neighborhood showcase last weekend. And when we do open houses, not just here, but even the smaller homes we've done in Lebanon County, we always advertise them as a neighborhood showcase in addition to an open house. You know, we want the community who's been watching us here for 8 months, knowing that work's been done. We want them to feel like they're welcome to come in and see things even though they're not buyers. And I think that influence that first day, word spread very quickly, and you know, it was quite a big turnout over the weekend.
Yeah, I think people, you know, were coming in and saying, you know, that we're neighbors, and then said, here's a chance for you to pick your neighbor. If you have any friends or family that are looking for a house, you know, come in here and put an offer in. The showings just kept stacking up, people coming in here to take a look at the property, and next thing you know, as soon as the first one dropped, you let everyone know, and everyone who was serious, you know, got in. So.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Especially with average days on market starting to jump up for a $1.5 million house to go under in 7 days. That's great. It really shows all the work and everything that was put in. So speaking of the work, tell me a little bit about this kitchen, because this is not your typical little island and a couple cabinets. What work, what stone do you have? What did you all do to the kitchen?
Well, the kitchen was the first room in the house that we designed. as soon as I walked into the house previously, I felt like everything was asymmetric. The range was there, but it was centered with this wall instead of being centered with the room. And so my brain just started spinning right away on how to make the space a little bit more modern. This was the first full-blown custom kitchen that we put into a remodel. We worked with a really talented cabinet designer at a mobile store, and I drew up what I wanted for the hutch here and what I had envisioned for the range hood, and he built it to what we drew. And then when it came to the finishes, I knew that at this price point, obviously, you know, high-end materials is super important, but not just that, I wanted natural materials. Here, more so than anything else. You know, quartz I think still reigns supreme as far as what buyers like for durability, but I wanted real stone. So these counters are quartzite, which is natural stone that's harder than marble. So it does allow for buyers to not have to worry too much about maintenance, while also enjoying something that came out of the earth as opposed to being man-made. And then the perimeter counters are a leathered granite. You know, a simpler backsplash, but I think it's really timeless. And then we, our team built the custom range hood surround. So there's 46-inch range hood in there, but that plaster surround was all custom designed and built. And from there, then it's just the fun finishes. You know, we used a lot of natural brass in here, and brushed gold, and some antique copper, and farmhouse zinc, and upgraded appliances.
So as we talk about this one, let's go back to the secondary kitchen, the butler's kitchen. So it's great for really doing any work that you're cooking outside or bringing stuff out. So was this already in the property, or did you guys add this in?
No, there was already an existing sink that was in here. There weren't any appliances. There were upper cabinets. Again, all of that was removed. There was actually another little pantry here and a window that was into the kitchen that we sealed up. But you know, looking outside, there used to be a screened-in porch. There's a natural gas hookup out there for a grill. And you know, really, you know, somebody who enjoys cooking out, it's like, all right, you don't want to be carrying stuff, you know, long distances. So having a sink here to wash some things up, or you know, you're entertaining, you have an ice maker, a beverage fridge, a secondary fridge. You know, it makes things a lot more convenient. You're not tramping through all the way through your house into your kitchen space. So you know, that's where the term kind of flex kitchen. You can use it for both indoor.
And with two kitchens, you need a bigger than usual pantry. So the pantry right over here has a ton of space. Especially with all the bedrooms, and depending on how many kids you have, you are not going to run out of room in there.
Pantry ended up being my favorite room in the house.
So wallpaper's making a comeback.
It sure is.
It's coming back, and it's nice. So now we are in the laundry room with a pet wash, not common for the area. What made you guys decide to add this in?
I think it's something that I've seen a couple of times online, and you know, when you start talking about people that either have small children, and they're outside playing, you can come in here or wash them off, or at the same time as snow, you can put stuff in. So it's not just for pets, but people that have medium to smaller dogs, you can go ahead and put something in here. Again, your dog bowls, you're not slopping over the sink. And I just thought it would be a neat feature that was unique to a property, like you said, you don't normally see.
And then talk a little bit about that powder room, because the walls are different than usual. The design is way different than a lot of other powder rooms.
I've just been seeing more and more of that in current design. I follow a lot of designers and home builders out of the area online, and I'm just trying to keep in touch with what's coming this way, what's coming to Pennsylvania. I've been seeing a lot more what they call like jewel box powder rooms. So you're using those darker tones, and I decided I would really like to give a blackout room a try. We haven't done that, where it's been baseboard, wall, ceiling, everything's blacked out. But to keep it from being too cave-like, we added that textured wallpaper in there in the upper panels.
And what is the wallpaper? It almost feels like a burlap kind of on the wall.
I mean, it's just a woven material. It's not technically grass cloth. It's just a woven material that's wallpaper.
And now, two of my favorite rooms in the house. We're gonna go check out the living room and the master, and then I want to talk a little bit more about the process too of the renovations, about some of the bigger stuff done. So one thing I want to touch on is the design. You guys didn't hire it out. Who handled the design?
I do the staging of our properties.
So you do all the staging, got all of the furniture. Are you buying these from Ashley Furniture? Or are you going through Wayfair, or where are you getting most of your staging items?
Over the years, we've been able to establish pro accounts with a lot of online retailers.
Yeah.
So I do work primarily through Wayfair Professional, and then under that umbrella, I have access to Jocelyn Main, All Modern, Birch Lane, Perigold, and so I do source a lot from there. I start sourcing the staging pretty early on in the project because I have an idea of which direction I want the design to go, and I just start working at trying to find some of those pieces. And we do keep an inventory. We have a barn where we house a lot of our staging material, but for this particular project, we bought a lot new to really fill the space and keep it a more modern design.
So whenever you see the house, whenever you're first driving by or looking at it for the first time, do you already have in your mind what materials you want to use, what you want the home to look like? Because you could have taken this 1,000 different ways. You could have done a fully crazy modern marble floors and tons of different stuff. Do you have that in your mind, or is it something that takes a long time to come up with?
I think we get to that point relatively quickly. We pride ourselves on not trying to make houses something they're not.
Yeah.
So you will find some new construction in this area that is definitely leaning more what I would call ultra modern for this area at least. And while I know that can be very popular with buyers, this is a French country exterior. Yeah. This house is never going to be an ultra modern home. It just wouldn't feel natural, and it wouldn't fit the landscape and the neighborhood and what the exterior elevation of the house was. So we really just pulled from the concept of French country and tried to draw on more rustic luxury touches, like the flooring, rather than going with a more modern blonde white oak or a marble, like you said. We were pulling some warmth in the color here and some more rustic.
And what type of flooring is this?
This is an engineered hardwood with a 50-year warranty. It does have a top layer of real wood. It could be sanded and refinished. So it's about the next best thing to solid hardwood flooring.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot sturdier though, not as easy to break.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's go check out the master, and I want to talk about some of the other things. Like, were you guys nervous throughout the process? Because this, like we said, this is a massive project to do. Was there anything in the back of your head, oh my gosh, we're putting all of these renovations into the house. Are we going to be able to sell it? Are we going to be able to be profitable on it? Were you guys nervous at all throughout the process?
Well, I was.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not you so much.
No, I mean, for me, I stay a lot calmer about it. I actually just trust you so much, in your designs and everything that you come up with. A lot of what I think she puts together, a lot of it is timeless. And I think that's, a big point for us is, whatever we're remodeling, we want it to stay current or looking nice for, years and years and years to come, not just something that might be fading that's a current trend. And she does a wonderful job of all of this, and I just try to continue to just try to support her and build her up and understand that you're doing a wonderful job. People love what you're doing. So the other parts are just, do all the numbers work as far as our materials? Did we buy it at the right price? If we're not hitting any huge, unexpected, we open something up and you see something, that's unexpected. But in a 20-year-old property, you're not really running into any of those. When we've worked on older homes, then we get a little more leery about something like that. But for really this project, again, I just say it's just more zeros.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was one of the bigger things that popped up unexpectedly that you had to deal with?
I would say it would have been the subflooring. So there was hardwood, throughout a lot of the living space in this room. Well, there was a laminate in the main area. It was a hardwood. So that was able to breathe, while set vacant. But where there was tiled areas in the master and in the kitchen, it was a very thick tile. A lot of that moisture couldn't go through. So it ended up softening the subfloor after we pulled the tile up, and we said, nope, this is unacceptable. We need to pull all this out and put brand new subflooring in. And that was something that I think that'll cost us a little more, plus then having to come in and find, trim again and matching some of the damaged trim, getting it milled to match perfectly. I think just some of those things, the time and the cost, with some of that was pretty much unexpected.
Yeah. Awesome. The master is very exciting. I'm excited to take a look at it because I noticed the tile is very interesting. I haven't seen this before. So tell me a little bit about the tile, what it is, and just the bathroom remodel in general, because this shower, you could have like a 10-person party in there. It's absurd.
Yeah. And I joke with folks, and our team has joked about how the last home that we've done, and lots of homes that we've done, have had bathrooms that are 5 feet by 8 feet, right? Because you can fit, your shower and your toilet and your vanity.
Yeah.
And this shower is 5 feet by 8 feet.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we have done whole bathrooms that have fit inside the shower before. So the bathroom as a whole is 325 square feet. We didn't change, anything with the layout. The layout has stayed completely the same. We just remodeled what was here. The flooring is large format. It is a ceramic tile with a brass inlay, a real brass inlay. So yeah, this was a new product. We've done large format before, but never with a brass inlay. So this was fun. This gained a lot of traction with those.
Yeah, the bathroom is probably my favorite room in the house. And what made you go with that tub? I know everyone's raging about clawfoot tubs now, or the big cylinders. Just what made you choose that one? Because it's so different, but it's something that I would never think about putting into one of my renovations.
Well, my first goal for the tub was to use a solid surface soaking tub. So the freestanding tubs have become very popular in our area. It's something you'll see in just about every price range in new construction in our area, but they're typically acrylic. Yeah. And the acrylic tubs, to me, just feel a little plasticky, they can scratch, and I wanted something that just felt a little more luxurious for the space. So the number one criteria was finding something that was solid surface. And then when I stumbled across this one, it was the winner right away because of the fluting. So this fluting detail is carried really throughout the house. You have the fluted glass on the front door, the fluted glass on the kitchen hutch, and it's in some light fixtures, it's in various places throughout the home. So that was what sold me on this particular tub.
So what happens after you sell this one? Are you guys taking a break? Are you looking for the next luxury one? Are you aiming for that 2,000 square foot remodel? What's next on J&G's list to do?
So we actually have about a 900 square foot little house that we bought about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And it was just got put on the back burner because we, driving past this, we're saying, well, clearly this is going to take precedence. So it's kind of giving the guys a little bit of a break. I think they're going to actually get annoyed because they're in such a smaller space, tripping over each other doing work. But it'd be something that just will turn a little quicker, still be able to give, a good custom look and feel to it, but just something that we can get in and out of a little faster, get a quicker sense of accomplishment for some of the guys. I know longer projects, they start to get worn down until we start getting into the finishes, and then they kind of ramp back up. So, it ebbs and flows with the process. So.
Do you guys want to do more luxury flips?
I think if the opportunity presented itself, certainly. I mean, we say all the time, you are successful and make your profit when you buy. So you have to buy at the right price, and that isn't always easy to find in the luxury market in central Pennsylvania. So, but never say never.
And could you ever see yourself developing something completely on your own, building it up from the ground, or are you more of, let's just remodel something that's already built?
So, we have talked about, finding just a parcel and being able to build a custom home on it and, selling it that way. The guys that work for us and even ourselves, we like the challenge of taking an existing space and redoing. You're confined to what is inside unless you're really adding on, which we don't do much of. but really just, it's like a puzzle to solve. So it's a challenge. So I think we really, really like that. And we get a lot of joy from, neighbors and, people in the community that support us coming out here and saying, you're doing a wonderful job of restoring a lot of these properties. And we don't love the term flipping a property because that's not really what we're doing. Like I said, we're not doing this as a full-time business. It's really just bringing a property back to its former glory and maybe even better.
I think you guys redeveloped the property. I don't think you flipped it, because flipping it is okay. Gray paint or tan paint on the walls, gray LVP, and boom, you're done. I think you guys completely redeveloped it. We're in Stonehenge. This is one of the most desirable communities in Lancaster, if not Pennsylvania. So there's massive houses that look like Capitol buildings in here. So I think you guys completely redeveloped it and took something that was beautiful whenever it was first built and made it even more beautiful now. You continued it the whole way throughout. It looks, are those custom doors or were they here already?
All the interior doors were replaced.
Yeah.
They weren't built custom, but they were all replaced as brand new doors.
Wonderful. And you've got 5 beds. How many bathrooms are in here?
The whole house has 4.5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
So the upstairs is 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths.
Wonderful. So it's great for a family or someone to come in and just completely start a new leaf, especially with a brand new home. Was there anything upstairs that you think was your favorite part or something that you struggled with, maybe trying to tie the upstairs to the downstairs?
I don't know that it was difficult to tie the two spaces together. With such an open concept here, it kind of does that naturally on its own. I would say the Jack and Jill bathroom from a design perspective was probably the most challenging. It's a long, narrow room.
Yep.
And we just kept the colors light and bright in there and added some hooks to there's a little dormer window. We added some hooks there to make that space a little more functional for young kids.
But even the guys that work for us, they come up with their own little things. We go up and they use the flooring that was, we carried throughout, and they build a little, I don't know, it's a little storage box underneath the front, window there, just to make that space seem more personal. Actually you can use it. Yeah. But again, we don't really think, okay, like you said, cheap out on the upstairs where we're just putting carpet up there, continuing this flooring throughout the entire house. Again, you used a different color of the large format upstairs in that bathroom with the brass inlay, again, carrying it through the house. And, like I said, I think it's something that you don't just stop in one area, you do it all.
Yep. So if someone watching this video is looking to start, maybe not even their first flip, but maybe their first big flip, maybe it is a 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, what would you say was the most important thing for you guys to nail down, other than buying right? Because if you buy too high and interest rates go up like crazy, you never know what might happen. What would you say is something that was the most important that you would either change, or maybe something that you did right that if it went wrong, it would have just popped up and become a bigger issue?
I would say from a business perspective, keeping an up-to-date budget. I mean, it's on a project this size, you can't just develop your budget at the start and then evaluate at the end. It's something that you have to reevaluate weekly and then make adjustments as things pop up. So, as we learned we were going to need to replace the subflooring, like we talked about earlier, that influenced other line items on the budget then. And you give and take from various aspects of what the original project, the scope of the project was supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think even when you're tackling something so large, you're adding time. So you need to make sure that you're adding more time into your schedule, not just for work to be done, but also setbacks that you may encounter, whether it's something you find or materials that you can't get. We spent a lot of time, as far as, like I said, looking for getting trim to match. Same thing with even appliances. We had order appliances and 8 months later, it's like they're still not in. So that type of stuff, can really add to stress, being able to complete a project on time. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just really making sure you're actually setting your calendar accurately. Because a lot of times I have a tendency to say, oh, that only takes, 3 weeks, and 3 months later it's still being done.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this property is under contract and it's going to get to closing. So this one is no longer available, but you guys are still doing a ton of projects and you guys are still going to continue to redevelop properties and things like that. If someone is looking to get the J&G style finish or reach out to you guys, what is the best thing that they could do to get in touch with you? Or maybe if they have a house that they want you guys to renovate or redo, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, our social media platforms, we're active on Instagram and Facebook, and so certainly reaching out via those platforms would be the fastest way to get a hold of us. We don't currently do remodels, full-blown remodels for private clients. We do some design work for private clients, but we're open to having conversations about any opportunity that would come our way.
Yeah. I want to convince them to do a TV show, but I don't know if they'll do it. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you letting us come in. This was spectacular. So if you guys need any design work, or maybe you're like, hey, next $1 million listing in Lititz that you guys flip, make sure you follow them, reach out to them. And yeah, anything else you guys want to say?
I would also add, we tend to get all the tips and all the thanks for these projects. We're the face, we're the ones that you see online and at the open houses and at the showcase. But we have an amazing team. We have 2 independent subcontractors who are with us full time, and they run the show. They act as a project manager and a lead contractor, and without their expertise and their skill set, we certainly cannot do any of this. And then on a project of this size, we utilize a lot of really professional and skilled subcontractors who all came in and had their hand in their skill set. So we're just very thankful for those folks.
Yeah, I mean, just a shout out I say all the time, because a lot of the time I was outside working on landscaping and people walking by, and I just said to all the neighbors that came, thank you for your patience and support, while we worked on this project and, trying to take something that was an eyesore and make it a gem in the neighborhood.
I think you guys did a great job with that, and it looks like you guys have the perfect contractors. It's so hard to come by good contractors nowadays. So you guys definitely have some great ones, and I'm super, super glad you were able to get them together to finish the property. All right. Awesome.
Thank you very much.